I'm Frieda Lim, urban microfarmer, and I was asked to create a logo for TEDxManhattan because of my green thumb. Since we're here today to change the way we eat, I thought it would be only fitting to create an edible logo. The process was easy. I had custom steel planters made, outfitted them with simple sub-irrigation elements, filled them with growing medium seed water, and put them under some grow lights. And 1 month later, I had enough lettuce to cater a lunch for TEDx. Well, almost. I've been gardening since I was a kid in Flint, Michigan, and I grew up tending to my family's garden in the backyard. I remember the dread of having to weed all the time, but I also remember the overwhelming joy of tasting the fresh food that I helped grow. Fast forward a few years and I moved to Brooklyn, became a mom, and found some space to get back to my gardening. I had one objective: to use my rooftop to grow the best food as efficiently and sustainably as possible. But things had changed since I was a kid, and I was in a different place, so I decided to do some research. City land is not farmland, and it's often contaminated with heavy metals like lead and arsenic. These are not things I want to put into my food or the food I was giving to my daughter. Contamination is an urban reality and a byproduct of the industrial age. Living near the Gowanus Canal is a vivid reminder.
My name is Bob Hyland. Most people know me on the internet as greenscaper. Urban gardeners not only have to contend with limited space and growing seasons, they also have to deal with city soil that is often contaminated, but all too often there is an exposure to toxic metal soil contamination. The best advice I could give would be, before growing any edible plants in the ground, to be sure to get a toxic metal soil test. Even then, personally, I would not grow in the ground. The most hygienic and safest way to grow food in the city is in sub-irrigated planters. And they are essentially, you could call them lead-free gardening. It's easy to make sub-irrigated planters, or SIPs, as many people know them. All you need is a watertight container to start. You don't even need power tools. And you can make them using recycled materials like nursery flats, storage boxes, and recycled water bottles. Few people know that you can even make a traditional raised bed into a sub-irrigated planter. The most essential part of a SIP is the water and oxygen chamber at the bottom of the planter. I think of these as scuba tanks for plants. An online, on-demand supply of water and oxygen is the primary reason SIPs are so incredibly productive. One of the neat benefits of growing plants with SIPs is that they're scalable to fit any space, from a windowsill to a commercial tomato farm in Florida. If a community garden loses its land, which happens all too often, it can move to another location. Many gardeners believe that it's a new invention, when in fact, Liberty Hyde Bailey, who many people consider as the father of American horticulture, was testing the exact same methods more than 100 years ago.
Armed with this knowledge, I had an idea that could not be contained. What if I turned our rooftop garden into a micro-farm case study that uses innovative growing methods like sub-irrigation and nutrient density? Now, in 2009, I did just that. I created Slippery Slope Farm, and now I grow safe, nutritious food for my family and hope to pave the way for future exploration.